What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to ToyShopFab. Last video, we fired up the budget race truck for the first time through its homemade turbo kit, and this thing sounded absolutely amazing. Although it is still by far ready to be taken out on the street and driven, it motivates the heck out of me to get it on the ground, to drive it. My plan is within the next few days, or before I go back to work again through this little series here, is to get this thing on the ground and driven before I go back to work. That way, if I got to order anything, I can. My last video you guys watched, if you hadn't, go watch it. This thing does sound absolutely amazing. We got the truck fired up. That way, if I needed to order any parts then, I could. I got back. That was 3 weeks ago, by the way, almost 3 weeks ago. So this video, even though these videos are a week apart, it was actually 3 weeks. So, but anyways, I got back last night, opened up the shop this morning, and I found a very small fuel leak coming from my fuel cell. So I had to pull that out this morning. I got that thing completely washed and cleaned out, got the corner welded back up. It was really, really small. It didn't leak when I was here or when we fired it up, but when I got back, it was a really little tiny leak. I'd show you, but I already got it back in the cage. So that's done. Fuel cell did have to come out anyways because I forgot to put the wire to our sending unit in when I first installed it. So that's installed now. Waiting to get the truck back up in the air so I can get that thing put back in. But before I do that, what I want to do, or what we're doing on this video, is I'm going to try to finish up my whole intercooler system. For those of you, this is a water to air intercooler. I am a big fan of these because they don't take up as much space as the big air to air. And you can run an ice box in the back of the truck, do a whole little separate water system, run an ice box, an external pump. You can add ice, and as much ice as you can pack into it is as cold as you can get your air temps. As a matter of fact, I've got a similar setup on the Mustang out there, and I've got that. I've been able to get my air temps on that intake air temps down to the mid 50s. So if you can pack it full ice, and that's got a 2-gallon fuel cell that I use for an ice box. This truck, however, is going to be, I believe it's a 4-gallon fuel cell mounting right here in the back of the truck. And I will be cutting this top out right here. So you can see, here's the gasket for what I will be using. It's going to go around just like that. We're going to cut that whole circle out and be replacing it with this guy here. This is like a luggage compartment or a luggage lid for a Kayak. They are watertight. Let's see here. It's got the little O-ring right here. Close it, and it's just a lock right there. Just this little guy. So that's unlocked. Swipe it over. That's locked. Really cool idea. I cannot take credit for that idea. I actually got that from watching Kevin, KSR Performance. He did that same setup on Cletus's El Camino, and I thought it was the coolest idea ever. So that's where I got that from. But before I get back there and mount that and cut holes and all that other neat stuff, I need to get my heat exchanger mounted up in front of our radiator, and I'm going to be doing that after I find my head. I swear I'd lose it if it wasn't attached to my shoulders, but I've got pieces of 1 inch by 14.5 inch long aluminum flat stock. Here's one piece right here. So I'll be marking out the centers of these bolts here, bolting these to the hardware that's holding the radiator in, and then centering our heat exchanger up on these guys here. This way I don't have to put too many holes or more holes in the core support or anything like that. I can use what's there and get those mounted up. I've already gone ahead and cut the inlets and outlets off, open it up using a step bit. That way we can weld these guys on as well and go to our dash 10 AN lines that are also from eBay and color coded or color matched or whatever you want to call it. Red and black. Big fan of that. So I'm going to get you guys set up in the stand here. I'm going to go ahead and pull some hardware out of the one side of this radiator, get that one piece mounted up, kind of set my heat exchanger up in there, make sure it fits the way I want, pull it back out, tack weld it up, get it sat back into place. That way I can take measurements and mark it out for the flat stock or the flat bar on the other side. The hardware on that radiator is in two different spots. If you're new, that radiator is actually designed to fit a Mustang. It's a 4-core. It's actually made for that car out there. But I like the measurements being a 4-core. It fit for what I wanted because I want to leave this hole open right here for a future project I have on this truck. Be redoing the turbo kit and all that stuff. But anyways, getting too far ahead of myself. Get you guys set up in the stand. That way I can get these 2 bolts or get a couple pieces of the hardware out. Get this guy mounted up. Start taking some measurements and getting that heat exchanger tacked into place. And then we can start running our line. So here we go. Say hi, Delilah. Hi. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Hopefully my little green light's on. It says the mic's working, but it is raining really hard outside. My poor car is getting soaked. I got a trash bag covering the engine. But anyways, I got my brackets welded up on the heat exchanger. I got one of the hoses made from the bottom of the heat exchanger to our intercooler, our water-to-air intercooler. And I got one of the headlights mounted. You guys remember when we pulled this whole thing apart, the headlights had a bunch of washers stacked behind it. Excuse me. I had a bunch of washers stacked behind it to bring it out. That's not the case anymore. Headlight sits nice and flat on our core support. Let me show you what we got. So there is our heat exchanger. It is all bolted up. I got this guy bolted up now. And you can see here, it's close, but it's just like you can fit a piece of paper in between there. So like it's nothing to worry about. But there she is, all bolted up. Went ahead and got those guys welded up as well. Got that lower hose ran down through our core support up into the front of our air core. Now the water is going to come from the back, go into here, through the intercooler, out, down, through the bottom, fill up, come back out through this guy, back through our core support, up into the fender, down, and it's going to run across the frame towards the back where we'll have our water pump. I do need to get the grill up on the core support there, get it mounted so I can double check and make sure our blinker clears. And get another hole in our core support so we can pass the hose through. But it's coming together. It's starting to look real cool. As you guys can see, I really like those headlights. I think they'll look really good with the grill that I have that I want to get. We are not going to run this one. I may run it right now. It depends on how far I get with everything, but I am going to order like a 98 grill where it sets back a little bit. But so go ahead and get you guys back in the stand. We'll get the grill set up into place, and it all marked, and put a hole in our course port. So get you guys up in the stand. Good morning. It is the next day. I was up late last night. We got the lights or the grill kind of set in place. Got our holes cut in the radiator support so we can run our intercooler lines. So as you can see here, we got this hole cut last night. Got the hose passed through. I got a rubber grommet on there to help protect the hose. Here is our other line that comes in through the bottom here. Our blinker clears everything without an issue. This core support, or not core support, the grill is just sitting in there with 2 screws. I did order the new one. It is coming. Hopefully be here within the next few days so we can get that changed out. Also, got our lines run up. Went ahead and put some holders here to hold our lines to our fender. That's about how I want to do it. I've got another nut inserted in the fender here where the hoses will be held here. It'll come over, drop down in between the cab and the frame rail, run across the bottom of the truck to come up to our water box here. Now you guys saw on the video as well, I went ahead and cut the hole in the bed of the truck to set this in. I've got to go get a piece of steel here to run across there. These fittings here, whoops, getting noisy. This one clears. This one with the cap runs right into the bed. So I cut it back to give it a little bit of gap. That way everything's got plenty of room. This fitting screws on without an issue. This will be capped without hitting the bed. I'm just going to go get a piece of steel so I can put in between the mounts to cover all that up. You won't see it. Here's our return line passed through the bed, and that is going to go through that fitting right there. So be a nice little 180. Come around, shouldn't see too much of the line. This will all be pretty well concealed. There you go. You can lightly see it, but I did trace out the line for our gasket so I can get this section cut out of our box here and get our Kayak lid on. Now this is definitely going to help me when filling this thing with ice. So pretty cool little upgrade, and all this is cheap. It's like 90 bucks, I think, or maybe even less for the tank. It's 20 bucks for that thing. So do those little mods. Got yourself a pretty cool little ice tank. Now, if you want, because it's just aluminum, you can also, if you're going to use ice, I've got some of this stuff that I've wrapped the one in my Mustang with. I'll probably do that as well since it's going to get a bed cover. But here's some insulation right here. You get this at Lowe's. Let's see here. You can use the aluminum tape. It's ducting or a duct insulation. It works really, really well. You can see it's foam there. It insulates. It works really good on the little can in the Mustang. So probably going to wrap the water box with that to help it out. It'll be fine. I do plan on putting a cover on this truck, like I said, to cover everything up. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and get the water box back out. It's just sitting there. Get that top of that box cut out so we can install our lid. get that sap back in the truck so I can kind of finish running our lines. I need to make sure everything's where it needs to be. Get these routed where they need to be before I cut anything in the back. We'll get this truck up in the air and hook into our water pump. So, yeah, get you guys in the stand. I'll get that box out. We'll get the top cut, get that lid attached, and get this thing in the air. All right, got our fuel cell, or now what is now our water box, modified, installed in the truck. I've gone ahead and finished all the plumbing, so all the lines from our heat exchanger are ran through, across the fender, down. I'll show you guys what we got. Comes through, across the fender, down the firewall, between the cab and the frame, runs all the way across to our pump here, which is mounted to this frame rail. It's temporarily mounted. I got to drill the holes and put bolts on the top, but so there is the bottom of our fuel cell, or our water box now, and that is a -10 with a 3/4 barb. Comes all the way down. Hose goes in the front of our pump, out of our pump, which I got converted back over to a -10, and feed our intercooler and heat exchanger up front. So all that is done. I have got wires ran to the top of the bed because I'm going to bring the truck down and we're going to function test and check for leaks. Let's see. Oh, there is our heat exchanger. It fits really nice up in front of the radiator. Nice and flush. Uses the existing hardware we already had for our radiator. I probably didn't show you guys, but see here. There is the outside welds at least. So, ever since I figured out that my regulator was off, my aluminum welding is getting a lot better. Stainless, I still need to work on, but aluminum is getting better. So, anyways, enough of that. Let's go ahead and bring this truck down. Get it off the locks. Get you guys all set up there. We can fill our box full of water. Kick that pump on. Make sure everything flows through the system. Double check all our connections. Make sure we don't have any leaks. But one step closer to getting this thing on the ground and out for its first test drive. I did reinstall our fuel cell, so that is all bolted and plumbed back in. I will, once we start on the wiring, I will have to pressure test that, or at least double check the lines again. Shouldn't have a problem though. I just had the one little leak on the tank, and that seems to be fixed. Said fingers crossed though. I thought we were good the first time I put it in, but give you guys a top view here. So that is how I want it. There's our harness to our headlights underneath. There is our return and feed lines. Come across, up over the factory bulkhead and down. Our hood pop's going to come through here. And this is for washers or our window squirters. I am going to try to hook that up Probably not this time, but I'll figure it out. I am going to try to get the wash. The squirter's working on those. At least have that. But let's get over here. Here. So there's our box. Here's our return line. I wanted it on the outside. It's easy for me to get to. It gives me plenty of room, plenty of slack in the line as well. So if anything was to happen, I can just change it up. But I'll show you guys so you can see in there. Nice big open hole. I definitely like that. I'll have to probably try to find something for the Mustang to make it that much easier for me in that car, because that is nice having that big old 8-inch or 10-inch, 8-inch. I think it's 8-inch. You can pretty much just drop a full ice bag in there and not have to worry about it. The other ones I have to kind of beat up and force past the little inlet on the one in the Mustang, but this one's going to be much easier. So get you guys in the stand here. All right, get you turned around and down so you can see what we got going on. So fill this thing up with water. One step closer to getting this thing on the street. I am excited. We got a big old storm coming too. That's got a lot of wind going right now. All the trees are beating the heck up out of the top of my shop here. Had one big branch bounce off the top of the Mustang. Didn't dent the roof, but it scratched the paint a little bit, which is fine. That's what that stuff's for. It's just a hot rod black. I think it'll just clean up. It's just like transfer from dirt or whatever was on that thing, on the branch, but didn't dent it, so that's good. Definitely a big storm moving this way. Let's see, let's kick that pump on, see if it pulls any water. Oh yeah, she's pulling water. I don't know if you guys can hear it. You can hear the pump. Oh yeah, let's go ahead. So it's got just under 1.5 gallons in it. We'll go ahead and just put 2 gallons in there for right now. Lucky me, it's just water. So if there's any leaks, no big deal. I don't know what that is, but it needs to come out. Okay. All right, let's get you out of the stand. So that is a nice, solid stream of water going through that thing, feeding through. Let's go ahead and walk up front, see what our inlet looks like. So this one, water comes in through here. Oh yeah, that's already cold. That's nice. So water goes in through here, out through here. Still no leaks, nice and cold. Comes in through the bottom here. Oh yeah. Fills up. It's got to come back up through this way and come out this way because it is split here. So that's really nice. And I think that was only like $150. And then we come back out through here, through our core support, up into here, back down under the truck. So let's see if we got any water on the floor. Let's see here. And that is where water would be dripping from, and there is no water dripping. So looks like our intercooler system is complete. We got water flowing through at a really plenty of room to fit ice in there. I got 2 gallons in it right now. It looks like it will be closer to a 4 to 5 gallon water system. So that's awesome. Plenty of water flow throughout. Should do great keeping my intake temps down, especially just doing normal driving. Go ahead and shut that off. So another one, water box for the bed. If I can find my marker, I will scratch it off that list. And then I can start moving on to the wiring, which is everybody's favorite, I know. But I promise you guys, I'm going to try to do my best to kind of explain what it is that I'm doing. If you're on the outside and you just look at it, wiring is very, very intimidating. But once you get your hands on it and you know what's going on, especially if you get on the internet, I'll Google it, right? Ask for whatever it is you're working on. I got pinouts for the ignition switch, pinouts for the bulkhead, pinouts for all the blinker switches, everything. And it tells you, some guys out there, they'll give you like a factory style or a PDF pinout, which is kind of confusing, especially when you get all those lines jumping everywhere if you're not quite used to it. And then you'll find other guys out there. I like to go under images. They'll draw you a picture and then mark what it's for, which definitely helps out a lot too. So here you go. Water box for the bed. Done. I have the last few videos here. We have been able to scratch off a lot on this list. I got cab mounts on here. It's because all the mounts in the core support and cab are still loose. Once I get the hood and that fender on, I start aligning everything and get the cab, the bed, everything, because you can move things around to get it to line up just right. So we'll cross that off. Got to get the transmission controller wired up. I'm using a TCI transmission controller for this 4L60E. I'll also use it for a 4L80E when I get that transmission, but for right now, 4L60E will do. Front end alignment still has to be done. Trim, wiring harness some more, and I still got to clean up my dash pad. I got to get gauges in this thing, all that other neat stuff. So, but that is on a whole other video. I got to get myself cleaned up, got to get things moved around, see if I can't get everything put back in the shop before that storm hits us really, really hard. I don't want any more big branches bouncing off the top of my car. So if you are new and you've made it this far, hit that subscribe button for me. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I mean, this thing is really starting to come along. I've got both headlights in it now, and I've got the new grill ordered. It should be here in a few days, and this thing is gonna look sweet, especially once I get everything done, we get the whole truck wrapped. So, but again, thank you guys for hanging out. Appreciate all your guys' support. As a matter of fact, all the wiring, most of the wiring that we're going in this truck on the next video, was actually bought by you guys for watching, right? I wanted, so because you guys watch and you subscribe, it allowed me to buy most of the little switches and wires and connectors, all that stuff for this truck. So thank you guys very much. Appreciate all the support. Again, if you are new and you've made it this far, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, leave a comment down below, tell me what you think. Thank you guys again. Appreciate it. And I'll catch you on the next one.